Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, dear students. I'm Mr. Mohammad Khalid, and you are learning Pakistan Studies. It is week 8, lesson 8, and our today's discussion is about the constitutional development in Pakistan. Dear students, if we explore the history of Pakistan, we find that one of the most crucial problems Pakistan had to face is the lack of the central constitution, due to which in later stage we find that there happen lots of problem, mismanagement, interference of the establishment, and many things happened. And this lack of constitution and the rule of law is still happening in Pakistan in one way or other. Therefore, learning about the constitutional development in Pakistan and rule of law is one of the very major concept for the students to understand the nature. The students, to understand the constitutional development, we need to understand the law, what is law, need of the law, what role constitutional or law plays in the lives of state and the nation. Thereby, this discussion is going to be very informative and quite important for everyone. Contents in this entire discussion, we are going to talk about history of English Constitution in subcontinent, objective resolution of 1949, importance of the objective resolution, first Constitution 1956, salient features of the Constitution of 1956, abrogation of 1956 Constitution, the Constitution of Pakistan 1973, and among this, the Constitution of 1962. Then Zia era and its constitutional legacy, the 1990s and toppling of the Benazir Bhutto government, Musharraf coup, and all these important events which happened in the Constitution of Pakistan or our journey towards the Constitution will be discussed in detail. Dear students, first, what law is? Law are the highest supreme rules and regulations in general. Generally, we say the highest sublime rules and regulations which describe a system of government, and rules, regulations, plus rights and obligations of the people is called law. So let's read it. Law define the system of government, rights and obligation. Okay, and law is by a sovereign, Muqtadar Ala, by someone sublime. Clear? Here we understood that law are the rules and regulations which govern our life, which tell us about a political system, okay, which devise rules and regulations, and when we follow, okay, then rules and regulations, rights and obligations, and if someone fails to follow the law or breaks the law, he is liable to punishment. Let me explain in Urdu. कानून दरअसल वो आला उसूल और उसूल होते हैं, कवायद और ज़वाबित होते हैं जो किसी भी, जो एक मुक़्तदर आला, सबसे आला हस्ती जो होती है वो बनाती है, और उसमें सबसे पहले वो गवर्नमेंट का सिस्टम, कि एक गवर्नमेंट क्या होगी, एक रियासत का जो बुनियादी ढांचा है, जैसे आप पिछली क्लास में पढ़ चुके हैं, उसके ढांचे को बयान करते हैं। क्लियर? उसमें रहने वाले लोगों के हकूक और फराइज को बयान करते हैं, और अगर कोई बंदा उन उसूलों को तोड़ता है तो उसे सजा दी जाती है। क्लियर? In what is a sovereign? In the modern day, according to Islam, the sovereign is the life, is the Allah Almighty Himself, and Khalifa is the second sovereign who uses the authority of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala as a sacred trust and regulates the lives of the people, leads the people and govern their life, make other rules and manage their betterment and food and security. Fine. But in the modern times, in our quite nearest past, king used to be the sovereign. I mean, every law would be made after the name of the king. So in like King of England, King of France, King of Germany, or Khalifa of Turkey, they used to be the sovereign. But in the modern politics, sovereign in the democracy in Pakistan where we live, sovereign are the president, but the real power is of the sovereignty is with the people. कि लोग, रिपब्लिक में लोग become the sovereign, okay, and they hand over their powers to their representative like MPs or MNAs, and they make parliament, senate, and that senate and parliament actually makes the law, and those rules and regulations govern our life. Understood? So to understand really what law is, we should know about the organs of the state or the state structure, that what type of state we are, or what type of state we are going to learn. Fine. Second, law are written and unwritten. There are two types of law, written and unwritten law. For example, the law of England is unwritten because it is based on conventions. Clear? Based on convention mean the whatever rules and regulation and practices their forefathers had been doing, okay, they follow the same tradition, same manner to settle their disputes and to govern. That is for that the law of England is mostly customary law. Custom mean it is developed from the customs. But all the law in the world are written form. They are called codified law. For example, when you listen to the discussion according to Article 7 of the Constitution, Clause 2, and when you watch a film, when you listen to a lawyer, okay, and you excessively talk about Article 62, 61, fine. And this discussion means why you say Article 62, 61, clear. And then we have also uh, the other clauses of the criminal law, criminal procedure, clear, CPC or CRPC, where we say 420 mean okay 302. They are the very common expressions that even a man mean. Let me speak in Urdu कि वो जी 302 के मुकदमे में आ गया. What means? It is murder. So this 302 is actually the it is the article of the criminal procedure, sorry, CPC, clear, or that is written. It means it is a written one. Therefore, you are referring. Clear? So now in the world, most of the constitution in the world are written. Clear? The entire rest world has written document which is called constitution. Fine. Among the most influential constitutions from the Western civilization, American Constitution. It is very small, precise constitution that develops, that expresses different rules and regulations, and Americans are utilizing that constitution, and that constitution has helped Americans emerge as superpower. Fine. Similarly, law is one of the very important thing. So when we compare our country with the others, due to the lack of law and rule of law, we find that there was military interference, establishment interference, okay, the political parties didn't have any, they lacked the motivation and many things. So law is one of the very major thing, and nation can only survive if they have a strong law and if they have the spirit to follow the rule of law. Otherwise, nations are just the heart. They are just a crowd or mob fighting and quarreling over petty interests. अगर कानून नहीं है, कानून की पासदारी नहीं है, तो वो लोग एक गिरोह की तरह होते हैं जो मुख्तलिफ चीजों के लिए एक दूसरे के साथ बुरी तरह लड़ते और झगड़ते. Dear students, I hope that you have learned about the definition of law, that they are, and now move to next. History of constitution of the subcontinent. We must understand, we must explore the history of constitution. Let's go back. Students, when before British had taken over the entire India, this vast continent, this vast area, vast region was divided into many princely states. And there the kings, queens, and prince, they were ruling. And they were ruling according to the local law. For example, the Mughals, they were Muslims, and they had the Islamic rule, and they were governing their country according to the Islamic rules or mixed Islamic rules. Secondly, we find the Maratha Hindus, they were ruling their state or the country according to them. And similarly, throughout the India, various states, they were ruling their own local law and culture. Like in Balochistan, we find the tribal culture. बलूचिस्तान के अंदर जो कबीलों का एक अपना तरीकाकार है, they use this and they live the life according to their living for thousands of years. But when British came, before the British East India Company, it took the control of entire India. Okay, and the officers of the company, they were controlling the life of India, Indians from 1662 till 1857. Okay, but in 1857, after the War of Independence, when the Indians as whole, be they are Muslims, be they are Hindus, be they are Sikhs, be they are other nations, they failed and India came under the control of British, then the British crown, the King of England, it was clear, King of England took control of India. I mean, they took India under their own control and declared India as the colony of the Great Britain. Okay, and then they introduced India Act 1858. India Act 1858, I mean, they repelled, they replaced, they discarded all the previous law and they introduced India Act 1858. The Qazis and other were removed, and then the judges, lawyer, bar, court, tie, these things came into the practice. Well, then between 1858 till 1947, there came numerous sub law like CPC, CRPC, Contract Act, many other things according to. But one major one is India Act 1858, in which Great Britain took control of the India. Well, India Act 1935. The second major law was India Act 1935. Was enacted in response of the growing demand for self-government. That from 1858 till 1935, the local Indian people, they wanted that they should be included in the system of government. They wanted that the local people be their officers. Therefore, the British were compelled, British मजबूर हो गए तब कि उन्होंने फिर इंडिया एक्ट 1935 जो है वो लागू किया और उसके जरिए हिंदुस्तान के जो लोग थे उनको सियासी आज़ादी दी गई, जिसे कहते हैं ना कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल, मिसाल के तौर पर लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबलीज बनाई गई, कानून साज असम्बलियाँ बनाई गई। उन कानून साज असम्बलियों में हिंदुओं को, सिखों को, मुसलमानों को, बाकी माइनॉरिटीज को नुमाइंदगी दी गई, क्लियर। और वो जो कानून साज असम्बलियाँ थीं वो अपने अपने लिहाज से कानून बनाती और उसको वायसराय हिंद, क्लियर, द इंडियन वायसराय ऑफ इंडिया, जो एक अंग्रेज होता था, उसको पेश कर देते थे और वो उनकी मजदूरी इंग्लैंड पार्लियामेंट से लेके उस कानून को फिर लागू करता था, क्लियर। बट और ये बात जो है ना, सादत हसन मंटू का एक बड़ा मशहूर अफसाना है कि नया कानून या न्यू कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, ठीक है ना, एंड यू फाइंड इट दैट हाउ द पीपल were expecting that India Act 1935 will change their life. Another constitution is made, that is India Act 1947, in which the Great Britain or the British divided India into Pakistan and India, clear, जिसमें हिंदुस्तान सब कॉन्टिनेंट was divided into two separate states into Pakistan and India. And the reason was actually the two nation theory, that the Muslims demanded and claimed that Hindus are not like Muslims. We are separate nations. our religion, our life, social history, heroes, everything is different. Therefore, we cannot live under the Hindus. And that was the demand that in 1947, Pakistan and India came into being. The students, well, when Pakistan came into being, we didn't have any constitution at that time. Pakistan into being, and there was no central constitution. India Act 1935, India Act 1935 जो अभी भी उसके अंदर कुछ अमेंडमेंट की गई और वक्ती तौर पर कानून मुल्क चलाने के लिए उस कानून का सहारा लिया गया. And same India Act 1935 was opted by Indian government. और यही India Act 1935 Indian government ने भी लिया. Here was the problem. Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah wanted to give Pakistan a fresh constitution, which may have all the rules and regulations inculcated by Islam, by Allah. जिसमें वो चाहते थे कि जिस मकसद के लिए आज़ादी हासिल की गई है, उनका जो विजन था कि जिसमें कुरान और सुन्ना के मुताबिक कानून हो, जिसमें डेमोक्रेसी कानून हो, and he made efforts for it. But unfortunately, you know that he couldn't live long, and the responsibility was referred to Khan Liaquat Ali Khan. And Khan Liaquat Ali Khan started objective resolution clear. तो खान लियाकत अली खान ने objective resolution पेश की in 1949. Why Pakistan couldn't do it earlier? Because there were so many problems which we have learned in the initial problems of Pakistan, like war, migrators, settlement, corruption, lack of resources, water disputes, okay, lack of the equipment and professional people. There were so many problems with which our leaders were completely engaged in. And meanwhile, Quaid-e-Azam passed away, and this was one of the major setback. Dear students, I'm sure that you have learned about that what is law. Number two, what is the role of constitution and how this constitution, British or the Western constitution, came to us. Thank you very much.